Hello, my beautiful friends. In today's video, I'm going to try to explain to you an interesting way that I see the world, and it's not even a concept, it's just the way things are, but so far it's been pretty much impossible for me to articulate it into words, and today something happened where I think I can try to land it here on the ground. And it goes something like this. So since I was 33 years old, things began to happen where the veil between my very physical 3D reality and realities and other dimensions has been thinning at times, right? There is, of course, there are times that are like very, very stressful times when the veil thins so much that you start seeing interdimensionally. And before you're ready to see that, before you understand what it is, you can actually go crazy because it's very hard to distinguish between paranoia and psychotic behavior and actually seeing other realities in clarity. They're both the same thing. It's just where your body physically is at the time, right? If you're doing drugs and you're on alcohol and all that type of stuff, then chances are you can tip over into that paranoia state where you are first doubting yourself. But not only you're doubting yourself, because you're doubting yourself, you're manifesting people around you that are doubting you, that are thinking, well, you're thinking inside of yourself that you're crazy. You're doubting whether it's real what you're seeing, or whether what you're seeing is stimulated by drug abuse, or by some sort of medications, or by alcohol, or the mixture of all of those. And because you think that, you manifest people around you, maybe authorities around you, that are going to, question your sanity. I've had this happen to my friends, and because they couldn't pull out of this rut where they were drinking and doing drugs and doing medications. Well, actually, they were not doing drugs; they were doing prescribed medications that. They couldn't separate the vision from the question of whether they're sane or insane. And when the two are together, you're pretty much doomed, right? So it took me a long, long, long time to make sure that my body is 100% clear, that I have absolutely no doubts that what I'm seeing is true, and I've achieved that ever since, and I've proven to myself. So to me right now, it really is not a question of others doubting me or not. I know that I will manifest people who are understanding exactly what it is that I'm talking about. But when the veil thins out, you start to see people. You understand that everyone on your path is you, and it is a version of you or an aspect of you in either the future or the past. And since this nature of life is like a spiral, it is cyclical, it is a spiral, then really there is no such thing as future and the past. And today I was walking up this path that I usually take in Mount Shasta towards Heart Lake, and it came to me so clear because as I was entering this path today, this hike up the mountains, the first person that I met on my path was an elderly gentleman, and he was very polite, and he walked very slow, and he was very fit for his age, and just like a very pleasant, mature energy, taking the time to climb up the mountain, to climb up the hill. And I knew that that was me. And I passed through it so quickly, and I wanted to turn around, but sometimes I don't like to specifically look at the face because that creates doubt, right? You the faces, the difference in face that we see, what we see like as a different person, is just a veil. It's just a veil of your, through which you see everything. Otherwise, it would be hard for you, because all you would see is yourself everywhere. And that happened to me, where all I saw was myself within absolutely everyone. And it is very challenging. So this veil, it is not only serving as, it's not a bad thing. It actually serves as a protective veil, and it helps you differentiate between different situations, helps you put a face, so to speak, on an aspect of yourself, and then you can interact with that specific aspect of yourself in this 3D reality as if it's a different person, as if you're trying to teach that person something, or as if you're learning something from that person, which is really just an aspect of you within that is either trying to come through, and you are now meeting them on your path and deciding whether you're going to keep that aspect or to let go of that aspect of yourself. But coming back to the example of the path today, so this elderly guy, I knew that it was me, and as I was passing him, I realized that this is exactly how it works, multidimensionality. He is walking the same path with me, but he is not rushing anymore. He is not going anymore. His goal is different. He is now moving at a certain speed. Meanwhile, I pass him at a much different speed, right? And because I am on my path, although we're on the same exact trail, but my path internally has a different intention. I'm trying to work up my heart rate today. I'm trying to get to a certain spot before 10:30, and so on and so forth. I have different interests. I have different intentions. I have different goals. He, on the other hand, is moving at this speed, and his intentions are completely different from this path that he's on. Now, as I'm walking, somebody runs and passes by me, and I recognize this athlete who has been doing this every day. He literally runs up. This is a very steep hike, and he runs right up it. And so this is sometime into my past. So notice that I left my past, my future self, I left them in the past, right? So I left my future self in the past because my future self is moving at this speed that for now I'm passing by too quick. So the gentleman who is my future self is now in my past, behind me. As I'm making the steps forward toward my goal, somebody passes by me on my side, and it's an athlete who has been doing this every day. So I all of a sudden recognize an aspect of myself that I admire, this aspect of an athlete that is now manifest in the 3D, in the physical, that is now appearing and passing me by, right? Because this is an aspect that I'm reaching for. And now, as I'm beginning the workout, as I'm beginning to climb the mountain, he appears out of nowhere. This athlete within me appears right by my side and passes me by, and kind of, now I am his past, right? I am the girl who just restarted working out, restarted hiking, and reaching for this physical manifestation, bodily manifestation of an athlete, right? Or mental manifestation of an athlete. So I am in the beginning of his past. So now I am behind him as he moves to the top. Now, as I continue walking down this path, there is a couple, and they are moving very slow, which is okay, but they're taking up the whole path. It's a very narrow path, and they're not moving, right? And I'm behind them, and I'm behind them, and they're like, no, they're just not moving. And at some point, the lady turns around. She's like, oh, and she moves a little bit to the side, but then the gentleman just turns sideways without moving off the path, and he has a huge backpack, and I still can't pass through. And I create this internally, I feel this feeling of like, let me go through, let me pass through. So what is really happening is I am now interacting with the slow aspect of myself, with the aspect of myself that's taking the time and then taking the entire space of the path without considering anybody else. So I am trying to pass through that aspect of myself, right? I'm trying to leave that behind, but it's not letting me. It's work. It's a challenge. So here I met myself again, myself within this couple, as I'm climbing down up towards my goal. And then as I reach my goal, I mean, there's other things that happen on the path, but as I reach my goal and now I'm going to be turning around, guess what? Now my future self is again in my future. So I'll meet that older gentleman on the path because I'm so fast that I know that by the time he is making a few steps, I'm already coming back down this path. So I'm going to meet my future self that I left in the past. I'm going to meet him again. He's now in my future. Do you understand how this cyclical nature of life works? That it all depends what speed you're moving with and what your intention and goal is at the same time. But technically, everyone around you and everyone that is on your path is some sort of a version of you. And you need the veil because the veil helps you differentiate. And I will tell you in other videos, I gotta run now, but I will tell you in the videos what happens when the veil thins and when you don't see the separation. And I think that is like what schizophrenia is based on, but this is it's a real thing. It's a real thinning of the veil. It's actually genius when you start seeing that, but it's also very, very dangerous because if your body is not prepared for it, then it's going to be very, very hard to realize that is what you're going through, and that well, I'll tell you about in the other video. There's something else that I wanted to tell you right now. Oh yes. So sometimes you decide to hike with a certain aspect of yourself, right? Sometimes you decide to share the path with someone. Well, a lot of times, or somebody comes into your life and decides, okay, well, we're gonna hike together. That person is an aspect of you that you're trying to work with right now. Now that you're conflicted about whether you want to keep it or whether you want to let go of it. Some people who are hiking along us are our foes, right? And foe in a way that what's going to happen, it is an aspect of you that might not be desirable for you, but you allow it to take over. And that person will take your energy and then your path will continue within that person. So that person just basically pulled you out of your experience, took your experience, and now is going to be a dominant experience. At that point, how will you experience that? You will experience that as maybe picking up a certain habit that you didn't have before that will now somehow lead your life. So that can happen. Or what can happen is also you meeting someone on the path, and this is a friend, this is a friendly person, and I'm talking about 3D people. I'm talking about, well, person who you meet on the path. If it is not a foe who can take your energy with them, it might be a friend, and what they will do is they will give energy to you, give their energy to you voluntarily, and as you recognize an aspect of yourself within them and accept that aspect, they will now travel with you. Even though you separate in the physical, you don't see them anymore, they're now within you. So it's very important to treat everyone with kindness, everyone you meet on your path, but also be discerning, because this is the nature of this reality. All sorts of aspects are trying to enter through you, through your body, into this physical reality, and they through this special veil, through this beautiful design that we have, they appear to you as different people. Okay, I gotta go because I have to make it down the mountain by a certain time, and I don't want to rush because it is very rocky. All right, I'm going to tell you more about this way that I see reality a little bit later, but I hope you enjoyed this video now, and I'm sending you a ton of love from this beautiful mountaintop, from my heart to yours. Love you. Bye.